What up, what up, what up? Once again, we in this motherfucker. About to go right back in. 1 second. Get everything ready. Uh-oh. Okay. Set this up right. Peace, 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 peace. Welcome back, welcome back. Okay, set this up correctly. All right. So as usual, I want to start off with a reading. Yeah, I saw the comment. What up, what up? Appreciate it. What up, what up? Now this time I'm going to use this deck. I haven't used this deck in a long time. See, last time I used a Crow's deck. Normally I use a Dolph deck. This is an Egyptian deck. This deck is a lot harder to interpret because as you see, there's nothing on here but what the card is. You see, this is the moon card. So all you have is the imagery. All you have is the imagery to interpret the card. It's not giving you no sigils or no symbols or none of that. So it's a little harder to interpret this. Just give y'all a look at how some of these cards look. You know I'm heavy with the Egyptian shit. Give you one last card. Death. So what I'll do, I'll try to do a reading with this without any interpretation. See if I can do it. But first and foremost, we're going to see what the spirits have to say. We're going to let them guide this information. So let me shuffle up the cards and we're going to get it started. Hope everybody is good out there. Hope y'all tuned into the last video. Yeah. I just look at it as, I just rather have 2 videos than 1 video. Could have just made a 3-hour video, 5-hour, but I'm like, nah. I'd rather have 2 videos, that's all it is, so I just broke it up. No big deal. Your favorite deck? Your favorite deck is a Thoth deck or the Egyptian deck? Which deck are you talking about? The Egyptian or the Thoth? I guess they're both technically Egyptian decks, if you want to be technical. So, either way, it's a good choice. Good choice of cards. Alright. So let's see what the cards say. See what we got with it. Hope everybody is good. If you didn't see the last video, check that out right after this one. Alright. I don't know what the fuck this is. Hold on. Alright. Okay, here we go. Yeah, it's a little easier, just an hour and a half. Cause yeah, if I really wanted to go 5-6 hours, I could, but I may do it one time, but I don't want to make it a habit. I'd rather give you a little hour here, hour there, give you some gems, and you piece it all together. So I'm gonna make 10 of these. I'll title this later video, just letting y'all know we halfway through. We on number 5. I'm gonna make 5 more, so it'll be 10. So once it's complete, you will be able. I'm gonna create a playlist, and you will be able to watch it all. One thing, piece it all together and see what you come up with. Utilize your alchemy, piece it together, create some unique shit, and do what you gotta do. So the question we'll ask the tarot is originality. We'll focus on originality in this video. how to be more original, how to be creative, how to do things that hasn't been done before, so on and so forth in that realm. So, utilizing your own creativity, just enhancing your spirituality in all realms, physical, metaphysical, or quantum, as well as spiritual. So let's see what the tarot says. First card, works. The Three of Discs, works. So the first step in enhancing your spirituality and your originality, being more original, being more creative, being more sexual, whatever your goal is, works. What kind of works? Mars, the symbol of Mars, and Virgo. Mars and Virgo. Now, what does that mean? So we know Mars is definitely the fire planet, the planet of raw masculine energy, the warrior planet, the warrior spirit. And Virgo is definitely the problem solver of the zodiac, a mutable earth sign. So an earth sign that likes to expand its energy in multiple directions, like a manager or the president or a CEO of a company. Somebody who likes to put their energy into many different things at once, like the head of a business, so on and so forth. So in order to be more original, more creative, the first thing that's required is works. What type of works? Works about self. What do I mean by that? Now, what does that mean? Now, when you look at this, you see a pyramid with wheels. Bless up, bless up. You see the pyramid with wheels creating waves. So you got the pyramid in the middle with wheels creating waves. So the Mars energy is the wheels. The Virgo energy is the actual structure itself. So you can say, in this example, the pyramid will be the body. The wheels will be the Kundalini energy, and the waves will be the effect of you utilizing this Kundalini energy. So, for example, you have pyramids that just sit there and don't do anything, but then you have the pyramids that's connected to the spiritual energy that causes all this to happen naturally. And who better to do it than a human being? We are walking pyramids. You can say that. We are walking technology. We are the highest form of technology. We are co-creators along with nature, along with the supreme intelligence, so on and so forth, right? So to be more original, to be more creative, to enhance your spirituality, obviously takes works. It's pretty obvious, but what type of works? What type of works exactly? So it's letting you know, for example, the masculine force, that warrior spirit, first and foremost, because it's that warrior spirit that's creating those ripples in the atmosphere. So when we inspire to create ripples in the atmosphere, to influence our atmosphere to a significant degree, that's pure Mars. That's the warrior spirit. You bring out your warrior spirit, you will captivate anybody around you. Whether it's the warrior spirit when you speak, you MCing, rapping, rhyming, or you just speaking from your heart or whatever. When that warrior spirit is manifested, whether you in the mic you talking or you just speaking, when that warrior spirit is manifested, it captivates all the energy around it. It absorbs all energy around it to captivate your audience, or to captivate your atmosphere so you can have more influence over your atmosphere, over your environment, using your words, using your sound. Sound travels at 1,120 feet per second, so we can affect our surroundings, right? Simple shit. Let's take it to the next level. The 10 of Disc, wealth. Right? So from the works, have an influence over your atmosphere, have an influence over your environment by tapping into your warrior spirit so that you can solve several problems at once. Because that is a problem solver so a lot of people that feel like life is just bringing all this energy to them, you have to counter that energy with the warrior spirit because, again, life doesn't play with us. Life isn't soft. Nature isn't soft. Nature is a warrior spirit. That's why nature can be loving and beautiful as well as destructive when necessary. So nature has the ability to be destructive and it will take anybody out if it feels it needs to. It'll wipe out 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people, however many people. So nature can and will wipe motherfuckers out or cleanse itself whenever it needs to. So tapping into that warrior spirit is most important, first and foremost, to being original, to being more creative, tapping into that warrior spirit. Somebody said the music a little bit too loud. Okay, let me turn it down a little bit. No problem. No problem. It should be better now. All right. Cool. So, from the works build wealth. So when we're dealing with the number 10, that's the final form. Right? You're dealing with the number 10, that's the final form, 1 through 10. So when you get to the 10th Sephira, you're dealing with Malkuth. And when you study the Tree of Life or you study the Kabbalah, the 10th Sephira or Sephiroth is Malkuth, the kingdom, which is the earth energy, the lowest energy there is, the physical energy. So when you put in the works, cause and change in your atmosphere by tapping into that warrior spirit, it creates wealth. But not just any wealth, not just money, but wealth of the mind, wealth of knowledge. Because it's the knowledge that give you the money. You got to know how to do something if you want people to pay you for it, right? You have to have knowledge of something so that people will pay you for a service. That's why you put in the work. You put in the works to enhance your knowledge as well as your wisdom as well as your understanding, all mental. Only then, once you get that knowledge, that wisdom, and that understanding, or in other words, you gather the information, you test the information, then you reflect on the information after you test it, which gives you an overall conclusion or an overall result of how effective that energy is. So going through this process many times, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, going through this process over and over and over and over and over again, it starts to create wealth because now you're going through a process of the mind that's helping you come to a conclusion as to what's useful and what's not useful. That's more so the wisdom. The knowledge is just you accumulating facts. That's the first level. The number one is the knowledge. You accumulating facts. The number two is separating the useful from the non-useful. That's the wisdom to discern the good from the useless. What can be utilized and what can't be utilized. You may not know that when you're just studying the information. Once you actually apply it, you will see, okay, I can apply this, I can utilize this, this actually works. Can't apply this doesn't work, it just doesn't work for me. That's the wisdom. The understanding comes in once you know what works and what doesn't work after you have the experience. Now you can start to piece together your own thing. Once you have a combination of accumulated facts that have been tested and applied, now you can piece certain chemicals or mixtures together or certain codes or certain techniques. You can piece things together so that it can manifest in an original form, which is your wealth. Because wealth ain't going to come from you doing what somebody else already does. The wealth comes from being original. Right? Can I say work then wisdom creates wealth? Work then wisdom? I guess you can say that, because wisdom comes from you doing the work. I wouldn't even say there's a specific order, because there really is no specific order, because things in the universe, especially once you get into quantum mechanics, you see that shit, all type of crazy shit happens, and there isn't just one way. That's why you have manifestation of different planets, different atmospheres, different people, different spiritual beings. So there isn't just one path. It's just all about a path. Just choose a path. And if that path doesn't work, choose another path. And eventually, choosing all these paths, you're going to find something that resonates with you. Right? Boom. So that's wealth. What's the last card? Strength, which is the 9 of Wands, strength. So building up that wealth gives you that strength or that power, and again, which is the sun and the moon combining together. As you see with the Saturn, not the Saturn, the Sagittarius. The sign of the Sagittarius is all about alchemy, or all about art. So when you see Sagittarius, even the actual card for Sagittarius is art in this particular deck, which is you see two people fusing something together, mixing two things together, creating one new thing that is unlike the last two things that you used to create it. For example, you put these two together, works and wealth, which brings about the strength, which is neither wealth nor works, but a combination of them both, but unlike them on an individual level. That's alchemy. Alchemy is understanding that you can take two elements, work, wealth, combine these two, get strength, which is a combination of those two, but it is neither of those two. It's a combination of both of them, but it is neither of them. It is them both and not one. So it's half and half. You got the solar energy as well as the lunar energy. The solar energy is the conscious mind. The lunar energy is the subconscious mind. So the lunar energy is more so like the last video I did. I was talking more so about the number 7, about the lunar energy, about the moon. And this is more so about an active energy, the Mars energy, so on and so forth. What does it say? Yeah, if you missed the last joint, just watch it whenever you can. You know what I mean? This is the add-on to the last joint. Alright, so gave you a quick reading just to set the premise of the video. So, the works, the masculine energy influencing your environment so that you can solve several problems at once. After doing this for an extended amount of time, this begins to generate wealth. Once you begin to generate the wealth by constantly going over the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, right, going through that process, you building up that wealth will give you that strength or that power that's rightfully yours anyway. It's already rightfully yours. You build up that strength and that power by putting in that work and by building up that wealth so that you can have the proper freedom to express yourself to the fullest degree. All right? And we'll just do one extra card just to wrap it all up. Last card, game, which is, I believe this is the 9 of disc. Right? And you see these circles are all coming together as one. So you got the 3 circles, and from those 3 circles, you have all these different animations or variations, right? So from the 3 circles, you got all these sparks or directions of light, right? Which I believe is 9. It should be 9 of it. It may be 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's like, I don't know. Right? But you got different emanations of those three circles, which is gain. So, the strength and the power that's gained from those works and that wealth building, the strength and the power that comes from that, gives you that necessary gain, or the alchemy, because the gain isn't necessarily just strictly material. You're building up the wealth of alchemy. You're becoming an alchemist. See the difference between a scientist and an alchemist is the scientist works more so with the physical plane, and the alchemist works more so with the mental plane or the quantum plane. So the gain that you're receiving isn't just strictly a physical gain, but the gain to be able to create new things, as we said before, taking two things, create one new thing that is neither like the last two that created that thing. So you see the three circles coming together and create emanations of light. The three circles come together and create more emanations of light. So if you can grasp that, three circles fusing together, which creates more emanations of light, which causes you to gain in light. So you're not just gaining strictly in wealth, you're gaining in light. And what does that mean? What is light? Light is just information. Right? Light is information, but not just any information, coded information. What is coded information? You can say it's secret information or subconscious information. If you look at the sun is helping you on a physical level, but it's also helping you on a mental and spiritual level, because there's certain rays of light that you cannot see. You have the visible spectrum of light, which is the colors we see: purple, green, blue, red, orange, the chakras, all that, right? But you also have light that you can't see, the light that is invisible to the physical eye, which still affects us on a mental and spiritual level. And that's what I mean. Those emanations of light that you don't see physically is still affecting you on a mental and spiritual realm. So going through this whole process one last time, channel that warrior spirit to start to influence your atmosphere and your environment. Get those wheels to turning on your pyramid, channel in that warrior spirit, which starts to build wealth on a physical level, which gives you strength and power on a mental level. Your mind and your spirit becomes more powerful. Lastly, giving you the ability to perceive certain emanations of light that was once invisible, such as going into the spiritual plane. See, most spiritual things are invisible to most people because they're not putting in the works so that they can see those spectrums of light that is normally invisible, such as being aware in your dreams, having your intuition on point, being able to feel certain things within you that gives you a certain vibe about people, places, and things, being able to tap into the ancestral realm or the Akashic records and all these things. Most of this stuff either people don't know about or they don't know how to access it. They don't know how to access it because it's invisible. It becomes visible to you when you start putting in that spiritual work. If you don't put in that spiritual work, it will remain invisible. You will keep a veil over your eyes and you won't be able to see past the tree of life. Because you have the tree of life, but you also have the backside of the tree of life, which is the clip off. The clip off, most people say, is the bad or the negative side or the shells of the tree of life. And it ain't nothing but chaos and madness in the clip off. But truth be told, we know at this point, if anybody says something is bad or evil, most of the time they're trying to keep you out of it, not because they're looking out for you, but because they don't want you accessing a certain type of power. Just think about it. The same person that told you that Jesus is the Son of God is the same person that told you that devils rule the world. The world is ran by so-called Illuminati people, right? So the same person that's feeding you the garbage is the same person that's telling you to stay away from the clip off. It's the same person or people or group of people of energy or spirit telling you to do regular shit, be a regular person, don't study this, it's not worth it, it's a waste of time, you need to be doing other things, so on and so forth. It's just not, worth your time, all this stuff. But the deeper you go into it, magic or sorcery is the highest form of science. There's no way around that. Magic, the deeper you go into magic, the more scientific you realize it is. As you start to work your sigils and your rituals and your prayers and your chants, your meditations, your physical exercise, your martial arts, your dance, so on and so forth, when you start utilizing these attributes, you start to become aware of realms that was at one time invisible. So give me 1 second. I'm going to grab something. I'll be right back. Give me 15 seconds. So, if you remember the Bruce Lee movie, Enter the Dragon. If you remember the Bruce Lee movie, Enter the Dragon. At the beginning of the movie, when he was having a conversation with his sensei, what was the conversation about? His sensei said, your knowledge of your fighting styles or your martial arts has penetrated into spiritual knowledge. I'll say it one more time. His fighting style or his martial arts started to spiritually give him insight, which is what happens for real. This is why people take on martial arts, especially in the Far East. Why they're so big with martial arts over there. It's not just because they like to be physically fit, but the deeper you go into your martial arts, you start to gain spiritual insight. Why is that? Which is why it's so important to have a physical exercise with the spirituality. Which is why when you see yogis and gurus, most of them have mastered yoga. That's their physical exercise. So although you may see these people kind of sitting around all the time with their legs folded, talking, they have mastered yoga. So they have mastered something physical, a physical exercise to keep their body on point, which started to give them spiritual insight. Because people wonder, like, how does a guru know as much as they know when they didn't go to school for it? They didn't read a million and one books. They didn't get knowledge in the normal, average, mundane way. They gained the knowledge by having spiritual insight, by perfecting some type of physical form of martial art. When you perfect some type of physical form of martial art, it will start to become spiritual insight for you. This is just a natural process. Now, of course, nobody may not talk about that because, of course, everybody wants you to be fat and lazy and not putting in that physical work with just strictly in the mind and forgetting about the body. We must take care of the body. This is common knowledge, right? And I'm not just talking about eating healthy or being a vegan or being a vegetarian. It's not just strictly about diet. It's about those works. Physical exercise, straining your body. Not straining or damaging your body, but causing your body to grow. waking up sore. Sometimes you want to wake up and be sore just to know that you did something the day before. Like, damn, I must have been super active yesterday because I can barely move. Being able to be in that state on a daily basis, right? Somebody said if all people think like me, we'll have hope. That's the thing. All people are not supposed to think like me. Because we have powers in place that will make sure that does not happen. Right? We can call it whatever we want to call it, but you know. Trust me. I grew up being called the devil worshiper. That's real shit. But am I truly the one people need to be looking out for? Or is it a fucking joke? You know what I mean? So, see, this is the thing. I want to say this real quick, then we'll get back to the video. See, I didn't come into this spirituality when it was cool. See, nowadays, it's okay. Because there's so many other people already doing it. So it ain't nothing for people to make the transition from being religious, you know, to having a more spiritual base or a natural base lifestyle. When I was getting into all this, it wasn't cool. It wasn't, I didn't have anybody around that understood. So the closest thing they can identify with what I was doing was devil worship. The people that were around me who were very religious people. So, my upbringing into all this stuff was very traumatic, to say the least. I said it led me to be homeless and all this stuff. Like, I had to really go through a lot of stuff to earn this information. Not from books. That's the difference. It's not from books. This is from personal experience and from gathering information, trying the information, seeing what works. See, everything that I do, you're not going to find any of this stuff in a book because it didn't come out of a book. This came from actual observations and actual experiences. Because I was just dedicated enough to go through it. Because I could have easily said, all right, I'm going to stay away from it and just stay cool with my family. But I took this more seriously. Right? But neither here nor there. So just saying that to say, I really had to earn all of this. Because it definitely wasn't like I had somebody who was just giving me this shit because it was just there to give. It took me at least 9 months. Like all the shit that I just showed y'all last video, it took me like 9 months to perfect that technique. The mental technique with the supreme mathematics and the supreme alphabet took me like 9 months to perfect that. So although I can do it easy now, this is after years and years and years and years and years of just breaking everything down. I'm looking at all these street corners. I'm looking at all these numbers. You get what I'm saying? The reason the stuff that I speak about isn't cool is because it's real shit. That's the difference. See, you have other people on YouTube who may speak truth, but they're not occultists. That's the difference. They don't really speak about the occult. They may speak about the government. They may speak about the Illuminati. They may speak about government agents. They may speak about COINTELPRO. They may speak about white supremacy. They may speak about black inferiority. Whatever, right? All this social political shit. But they won't speak on the occult. Because when it comes to the occult, people associate it with evil because they're like, oh, this is the same shit the Illuminati does. This is the same shit that the powers that be does. human sacrifices and, pedophilia, fucking with kids and all this, that people want to box all that they find negative to the occult. Oh, this is what they do in the occult. They do the shit that isn't cool in a normal everyday life. So you get into the occult so you can do shit that other people can't do. That's halfway right and halfway true. And I'll tell you why. When it comes to the occult, it's a certain level that you hit where right and wrong becomes blurry. What do I mean by that? Meaning, the deeper you go into the occult, the more you start to realize that you've been programmed. We all know this, right? We know we're in a matrix, there's programs going on. It's common knowledge now. But you start to think like, okay, it's not that what I do or what I think or who I am is wrong. It's more so my thinking is more dated. Or in other words, my thinking is more, not my thinking, but people who think like this, you can say your thinking is more, it's just things that you can't speak about around people who are uninitiated. Most people have not even given themselves an initiation. Just think about that for a minute. Most people who are into the occult or practice the occult, study the occult, have not even gone through a personal initiation. Basically, a point where you can set in your mind where from this point on, I'm no longer the same person I was. From this point on, I'm so-and-so. Whatever your title is, whatever you choose to call yourself, whatever lifestyle. You have to set some type of time structure to when you make your transition. Because ain't nobody else going to do it for you. If you're not talking about joining a different way of life where somebody else initiates you into their way of life, then you must initiate yourself into the mysteries so that that aspect of yourself can start to speak and communicate with you. Because whatever we call the occult, the subconscious, the unconscious, these are attributes or aspects of ourselves that we can communicate with. Most of the time this happens in the dream world. When you see all these dream characters and you see all type of shit going on that's very peculiar, that's more so you having a conversation with different aspects of yourself, more so than it's about somebody else. Like you may see your friend in a dream. Doesn't mean a dream has anything to do with your friend. It's about what attribute does that friend represent in correlation to you, because everybody's energy exchange is different. Like whoever you consider your best friend, you guys have a particular synergy that other people simply don't have. So when you see this person in your dreams, you're not necessarily thinking about, why was this person in my dreams? You're more so thinking about the connection you two have on an energetic level and what that can possibly represent based on what's going on around the dream. When you look at things from that angle, you start to see things differently. So with that being said, there's just certain things that I'm not even going to say you can't discuss with certain people. It's just more so you don't want to hear their ignorance. Like, for example, there's some people who feel if you're not actively outside doing something to help people out, then they feel that you are not spiritual. If you're not out there marching, if you're not a part of an organization, if you're not trying to get the laws changed, so on and so forth. My perspective is, my life is not dictated on what somebody else said or what somebody else put in place. But I've always thought like that, even before I was into the occult. But it's neither here nor there. So let's sum all this up. When it comes to the occult, and when it comes to the things I speak about, it's not that I'm the only person that knows this stuff, but the people that know it don't really speak about it because they understand that the people are not going to understand because they are not initiated. When you are not initiated, there's really no way for you to fully comprehend information that you have not been initiated into. So if you have no type of initiation, you may only be able to get the information on the surface level. You will not be able to penetrate into the inner crevices of the information, as I was saying with Supreme Mathematics and Supreme Alphabet. To get to those deeper levels and constantly breaking things down on a daily basis, and you make this a part of your life, it's something that requires dedication. It's not something that's going to come to you because you want it. It's something that you're going to have to force yourself to do till it starts to get sharper. Your mind starts to get sharper. But it's going to take like at least a year. Like, give yourself at least a year to make the transition. So if you're religious, give yourself at least a year to learn this spiritual information before you know go into the deeper abyss. See, what do I mean? The spiritual information doesn't stop with books. At some point, you must travel. At some point, you must see certain places. You must do certain things. For example, no matter where you are in the world, there are places around you that are haunted. There are places around you that people say don't go. There are certain things that people say don't do. You must challenge those views and those outlooks. For example, let's just say there's a haunted. I'll just give my own personal example because I've done some things, so I'll just utilize my own personal example. In Las Vegas, on the Las Vegas Strip, there's a hotel called Circus. Right? Anybody who been to Vegas, well, I guess you may or may not know the hotel. You may or may not know it. But the hotel is rumored to be haunted. Right? That's the rumor. So what I did, I went to Circus, and I went to the room. They say it was haunted outside of the room because they say it's about 3 or 4 rooms that I guess people got killed in. People killed their kids, whatever. And they say when it's super high emotional energy in a certain area, it opens up portals to the other world. So I'm like, okay, let me see for myself. So I go to Circus and I stand in front of a room that was said to be haunted, and I felt a coldness in my solar plexus as I passed that room. As I passed that room, I felt a coldness in my solar plexus, which is a feeling that I normally don't feel ever. The only time I felt that coldness in my solar plexus is in the midst of ghosts. Paranormal activity, right? So, I didn't take that first experience as on face value. So I went again the same day. I felt that in my stomach, so I went back downstairs for maybe 10 minutes, and I went back to that room again just to see, is my mind just playing tricks on me, or is there really some shit going on? And I walked past that room for the second time and felt the same thing. So that let me know, okay, if I walk past the same room 2 times and I feel the exact same emotion, which is a coldness in my solar plexus, the reason I'm feeling that coldness in my solar plexus, because obviously the solar plexus isn't physical. It's more so, it's a part of your energetic body, the part of your body that you can't perceive with your eyes, but is vibrating because your body is producing you can say a song or sounds, your body is producing vibrations, which is emanating certain colors and all this stuff that you see in the aura. So if I'm feeling the coldness in my solar plexus, that means I'm feeling the coldness in a different realm. What's good? What's good? That coldness I'm feeling is not coming from the physical realm, because I'm not physically cold. The coldness I feel within my own solar plexus is coming from a different dimension. That coldness is from the atmosphere being ripped open. A different dimension being ripped open because of such a traumatic experience. You still are able to feel it in your chest the same way where if somebody went through something traumatic, they can still feel, even if they had trouble with their arm or whatever, you went through something traumatic where you got real damage, you would still be able to feel the after effects of the trauma long after it happened, whether on a mental level or a physical level or a spiritual level. So, again, there's many people who have not even seen themselves in the dream world, right? What do I mean by that? There's people who have not seen themselves in the dream world, meaning you wake up where your actual, see, this is the difference between lucid dreaming and astral travel. And this is something that I had to discover on my own. I didn't know the difference at first. But after doing the work, I realized the difference between astral traveling and lucid dreaming is with the astral travel feels a lot more real. And most of the time when you astral travel, you can see your actual physical body. Meaning, your consciousness will be in the same place your physical body is in. So you will be able to look over to the left or look over to the right, wherever you're sleeping at, and you'll be able to see your actual physical body. So now you're looking at your own body, you're looking at yourself laying there asleep. You see yourself, like, yeah, my mouth is open, slob is coming, yeah, you see all that. You looking at yourself. So you're like, okay, if I'm looking at myself, because I think in my mind, that's who I am. In my mind, I'm this motherfucker who's laying there in bed with my mouth open, slobbing on myself. This is who I think I am. This is who I identify myself as. But who am I now? Looking at this person, or this so-called person, this human being. Who am I? Looking at this human being. So from that aspect, that means you must be greater than the body. If you can look at your body and still be, if you can be conscious of yourself looking at your own body while your body actually rests in real time, the only conclusion you can come to is obviously then I must be more than the body. Now the lucid dream is more so it happens, that's when all the crazy shit happens in terms of you end up in places you just wake up in the middle of a dream and it's like already shit going on and you just become aware and you just kind of get dragged along. Then you wake up and you're like, yo, what the fuck? You kind of detach from the dream and you kind of go along and do your own thing. Now you're able to see all type of shit. See, for example, there's always profound dreams that stand out. For example, it's a dream that stands out to me, which was an astral projection. No, not an astral projection, a lucid dream. But it's like I was in this hotel room with my family, and in the hotel room is decorated with Egyptian hieroglyphs. So it's like it's the carving of the Egyptian hieroglyph, and it's black. So imagine the wall being red, and you have the Egyptian hieroglyphs carved into the wall, but the carvings is black. So you got a red wall with these black Egyptian carvings. So I walk up to it because I'm looking at it and I'm astounded. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. And I put my hand on the wall, and my hand is tracing the hieroglyphs. And I remember the feeling of my hand tracing these hieroglyphs. So I'm touching these hieroglyphs, and I'm getting the sensation of touching the hieroglyphs. It's shit like that that you realize, all right, I've never actually touched hieroglyphs before. But god damn it, what the fuck? You can't tell me that I didn't touch no fucking hieroglyphs in that fucking dream. I'm literally feeling that out. Like, yo, I never felt nothing like that. But I can clearly tell what the fuck is going on here. So, saying that to say, these type of experiences people underestimate because they don't see it as important. They see it as random. Don't have nothing to do with nothing. And it can be that, right? It can be that. It can be it don't have a meaning for you. But this tends to come from more practical people. People who are not into spirituality. People who are into spirituality already had a feeling that dreams mean something. You didn't have to read a book to tell you that. That's just something you knew just being a kid and just growing up and having certain type of dreams that you knew had something to do with some other shit. For example, like I would have a dream about a particular person, then that particular person contacts me in some type of way the next day. Which lets me know if I had a dream about a person, then they contact me the next day. Is it because of the dream I had, or were they already going to contact me anyway? What if I didn't remember the dream? See, this is how we look at things. When you actually remember your dreams and you take them seriously, the reason it affects your waking life is because you're going to notice things that you've seen in a dream in your waking life if you actually remember your dreams. And when you notice the similarities, that's when synchronicity happens. Synchronicity happens in like, yo, I've seen this before. This looks familiar. This person said something. I saw this person in my dream last night. So on and so forth. When you're able to connect what's going on in the dream world to what's going on in your waking life, or there's some type of similarity there, whether it be a particular person, a location, a feeling, a thought, whatever. There's some type of similarity there that's letting you know that there is some connection. How do you dream about a person that contacts you the next day? And it's just a dream. It's not that you necessarily dream. You made a decision to dream about this person. It just so happened to be a dream character in your dream. Right? So, with that being said, when you understand, like yo, dreams are significant, right? Yeah, that definitely is a common dream. A common dream is when people are like you're in school, you at school. Sometimes you're younger, sometimes you're the same age, sometimes it may be high school. You're sitting at a desk. There's a teacher there. There's people around doing shit. And from my studies, having dreams when you are in the atmosphere, a school atmosphere or a school environment, means that there's something that you're missing. There's something that needs to be observed, and there's something that needs to be studied in the outward reality. That's why you in school. So, for example, if you have a dream that you're in school in a particular subject, a class subject or whatever it is, then you actually study that in waking life. Because let's just say you had a dream about you were in a class studying the Odyssey. So you was in a dream, and the book y'all were reading was the Odyssey, which is an actual book. So let's just say you wake up and you actually read the Odyssey. If you don't have it, you look it up on the internet. You actually read the Odyssey because you remember reading it in your dreams. You will get some type of spiritual insight from reading the Odyssey because you got that inspiration from your dream, which you wouldn't have had if you didn't remember your dream. So when you remember your dreams, it completely affects your waking life because how you go about your waking life will be completely different when you remember your dreams. When you don't remember your dreams, you go about things a completely different way. So literally, based on if you remember your dreams or not, will dictate the type of experience you have once you wake up. That's just how important it is. Whether you had a bad dream or a good dream or a neutral dream, all these things will have an effect on your waking life once you wake up and you remember what was going on. So with that being said, combining these two realities, the waking life with the dreaming life, because they are one, they are all you, they're all us, it's just us on various dimensions. It's still all us, but the dreams drop the body and you become a point of consciousness. So when you look at yourself in a dream, you don't look like this in the dream world. You don't know how you look in the dream world. You may look completely different. I've looked in the mirrors in dreams and I didn't see this. I didn't see what I see now. I see some other shit. When I look in the mirror, I don't see this because I'm not this in the dream world. I can literally be anything. I've looked in the mirror and I've seen women. I've seen distortions. I've seen dark beings. I've seen all type of shit looking in the mirror. I'm like, rarely do I see what I see when I actually look in the mirror in waking life. Because when you in the dream world, shit gets very, very weird. Spirits may just speak to you. You may look in the mirror, see something else, and it starts speaking to you. And what are you going to do? Is that type of shit, you're going to remember that. Or you're going to remember that. You're going to wake up like, what the fuck? Who was I just talking to? And when you remember that conversation, that remembrance of the conversation will affect you in your waking life. Because now you're thinking about, what the fuck was that about? Now you may be looking it up. You may want to read some books. You may want to do this. You may want to do that. Now you waking up, you're trying to discover like what is actually going on. So that deepens your insight into the dream world, the waking world, the astral world, whatever. It's a whole universe that we go to. Every night, every time we go to sleep, we go to a whole different plane and we have more access to who and what we are in this plane. The reason why most people don't pay attention to it because spirituality is not really studied. People study religion, but when it comes to true spirituality, most people have no idea how to even approach it. So they don't see these spiritual things that are priceless. They see it as it has no value at all. So something that's priceless is seen as having no value at all. Something that makes no difference, something that means nothing at all. So with that being said, we understand that these type of conversations cannot really be had with people who have not gone through an initiation. You put yourself through an initiation so that you can understand deeper mysteries. Because if you don't put yourself through the initiation, how can you perceive greater mysteries if you don't put your mind or set your mind to those greater mysteries? For example, martial arts. Some people take up martial arts because they want to know how to fight and beat people up. Whereas some people want to defend themselves and get that spiritual insight. What? Hold on. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, people talking about what they seen in their dreams. It's weird. See, just look at it. Look at dreams as the real. This is what is actually real. This physical reality is an illusion. We heard this many, many times, right? So we understand that this is an illusion. The illusion, even the astral world is part of the illusion as well. So I'm not going to say the astral world isn't a part of the illusion because it is still a part of the illusion. Like when you move on from the body, you don't necessarily go to the astral plane. you go beyond the astral plane. Or I guess it depends on the quality of the work you did here. That's the thing. The quality of work you did here determines where you go when you die. Because the point of doing spiritual work is to prepare for death. See, most people don't want to accept that. They doing it trying to gain spiritual powers or trying to do this or trying to do that. No, the real reason you practice your spirituality so that you can be comfortable with death. Because the same shit that you do when you go into the dream world, when you astral travel, when you lucid dream, this is what happened when you die. These are the type of realms you be in when you die. This is the type of stuff that you see when you die, when you drop the body. So when you take seriously your dreams, your spiritual exercises, when you take all these things seriously and you become more aware of the astrals and you become more aware of the dream world and you just become aware of how the dynamics work there, what happens here, how does it happen, how do I get deeper into it, how do I communicate, you start to ask yourself, what more can I do here that I can't do in my waking life? There's prime examples of people who have seen things in their dreams and painted it in the waking life. So, for example, if you're a painter, many people are inspired by the things they see in their dreams. It's also a secret of wealth. And what do I mean? It's a secret of wealth because there's certain things that you can do and experience in your dreams that will help you gather wealth here, that will help you gain insight here. So if you ever at a crossroads, you don't know what path to take, you don't know what to do, that's why they say sleep on it, or I'm going to sleep on it, right? I'm going to ask my higher self, I'm going to ask my guardian angel, so on and so forth, right? So the dream world is the place to do all your spiritual work. So everything that you would do here, you do there too. So, how many people meditate in their dreams? People think meditation is just here. No, you should be meditating in your dreams too. You should be doing everything that you would like to do here anyway, should start off in the dream world. So if you want to take up a martial art, start in the dream world. If you want to take up a art, whether it's painting, drawing, poetry, whatever, you start off doing it in the dream world. Because that's where you can pull pure inspiration from, because you have full access to your mind. You can create whatever type of scenario you want to create. So any type of new habits or new experiences you're trying to have, you can have them in the astral plane. You can have them in the dream world. And again, this is where spirits and deities speak to you as well. Most people have not ever spoke to a deity before. Most people can't even comprehend how that shit goes. And trust me, these motherfucking deities, if you think we on some nigga shit, if you think motherfucking humans are ignorant, wait till you start fucking with these deities. I'm telling you right now. You think motherfuckers is doing shit crazy here. Nah. This is what twists your mind up. Because, hold on, how do you start off? You might have already covered it. Yeah, it's starting off. Again, it's like you do as much as you can. Meaning, it may take you 3 months to access the dream world to the point where you remember every little detail vividly. Right? It may take you 3 months to get to that level. But in the meantime, you're doing all your other shit. Whatever that is, see, you have to build a system for yourself if you're not already a part of a system. If you're not a part of a system, you must create a system. So the same thing that all these other systems have, they must be within your system so that it is complete. And what do I mean by that? I mean, you got to have the exercises you do when you're sleeping. You have the exercises you do when you're awake. You have the thoughts you think when you're sleeping. You have the thoughts you think when you're awake. You have the things you do when you're asleep. You have the things you do when you're awake. You just develop a system based on the type of things that interest you. So if you are into this type of knowledge, you're into divination, you create a system of things that benefit you. So if you are into alchemy, you include alchemy into your practice. If you into the occult, you include the occult into your practice. If you're into Gnosticism, you include Gnosticism into your practice. If you're into Sufism, you include Sufism into your practice. It can be Kabbalah, the Tree of Life, 72 Goetia, Lesser Keys of Solomon, Greater Keys of Solomon, Lesser Banishing Ritual, channeling, whatever. Whatever you want to do, you just work towards it every day. And again, you just have to put yourself through an initiation. When you put yourself through an initiation, it's not what you're doing on a conscious level, it's what you're doing on a subconscious level. When you subconsciously put yourself through an initiation, it's the equivalent to going through a traumatic experience. What do I mean by that? Most initiations are traumatic and they leave a scar on the person that went through the experience. For example, you will have people. Yeah, I definitely work with I work with the Keys of Solomon. Yeah, yes I do. Now, you have people who I'm trying to again, I'm not trying to bounce around too much, but I'm just trying to make this perfectly clear. See what time it is. Hold on. All right, 12:30. We'll go, I guess. We'll go another 30 minutes if that, and we'll get up out of here. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Right. How can I help my family? They have spiritual experience but are in denial about spirituality. Um, I would say it's not really about helping other people. So that's the thing. It's a misconception. Because who the fuck had to help you? Let's just be real for a minute. Did somebody have to help you get here? Or did you get yourself here? Because if you got yourself here, that means you're supposed to be here. And if you're supposed to be here, that means there are no mistakes in the universe. So there are no mistakes in the universe. If somebody is having spiritual experiences but are in denial about the experiences they are having, that means they are not ready to accept the truth about those spiritual experiences. And that's something that you can't force upon nobody. So it's really about, like, for example, I'll give you a personal example. Like my mother, she worked at a hospital before, and during one of her normal days, she came in contact with I don't know what the person is. They may have been a voodoo priest or something, right? Because they told her, they're like, you have, I guess, entities around you that are draining your energy, right? That's what they said to her. And they asked her, okay, bring these certain items, and I'm going to put these items together, and I'm going to create a ritual for you to relieve what you're going through. So, of course, she came to me. My mother knows I'm into this shit, right? Now, she came to me, she was like, yo, is that shit legit? Is she telling me the truth? Is she lying? Is she just trying to get my money? Is it real? Like, is it really something on me like that? So I did a reading or whatever. And I said, the reading just said, if it is something on you, it will be affecting your love and your money life, which is Venus. So I asked her, like, do you feel like your love and your money life has been affected? Then she said, probably love. So I gave her a ritual I would do for her. I'm like, okay, if you don't trust her, let me do something. Because, I got all these books and shit, right? And let me just pull something up. I pulled something up for her. I showed her, I'm like, all right, if you really feel that way, you really feel like it's something on you, I can do this ritual for you. You don't even have to do nothing. Like, I showed her the description, how to draw it. I would draw it out for her. You got to draw it on a piece of wood. You draw serpents on a piece of wood, all type of intricate designs, and you light some candles. I believe it was, to Oshun or something like that, for the people that's into the Ifa. So, long story short, she ended up not requesting that ritual I would have did for her. And the reason I brought that story up is it's just beyond her comprehension. And this is my own mother. It's just beyond her comprehension. Because she's still fearful to a certain degree. She may not be religious, but she still has that fear of the unknown. So with that fear of the unknown, it don't matter what I tell her. It don't matter what somebody else tells her. That fear is projecting the energy outwardly that's stopping me or anybody else from getting through because of the fear. We won't be able to penetrate the fear. So even if that person is listening to you intensively, you won't be able to penetrate. It's the same with people on the fence. There's some people that do a little things. Some people, they may have a tarot deck. They may do some meditation. They may be into the law of attraction. They may be into this shit real light though, right? But they're not like this is their life. See, this is the difference. You have some people that's into this shit. Then you have some people that this is their life style. Like this ain't just this is just something I do on my spare time. You got those people, but then you got people who this is what I do full time. Like I'm always in my head doing. You got people that's like that who take it that seriously because they have seen things. See, I can't blame nobody else because I've seen things other people have not seen. So I can't expect people to feel as strongly as I felt when you have not had the experiences I had. So it wouldn't make sense to you. You know what I mean? For example, for all my Cali folks, Devil's Gate. It's Devil's Gate Dam in Pasadena. Right? For those on the West Coast, you know what I'm talking about. Everybody hasn't been there. Many people know about that, know about the events that occurred there. But very, 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 very few people actually go into the dam. And the reason why very, 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 very few people actually go into the dam is because of the energy in that dam. And if you felt that energy in that dam, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. Because I've been in that motherfucker a couple times. And it even had me feeling some type of way. Like nervous. Like it made me nervous. As deep as I am into this shit, it made me nervous. But that's because the energy is intense there. But sometimes you need, just like I was saying about the Circus Hotel, sometimes you need to feel some shit like that to know that this shit is real. And I've had enough experiences happen to me where I'm no longer in question. Just type in Devil's Gate Dam and it'll pop up. It's in Pasadena. So it's on Google Maps. So it'll take you straight to it. When is the last time I talked to Lucifer? Shit, probably last night. If I want to keep it real. Yeah, last night. Last night. I don't know why the fuck you asking. But if you really want to know the truth, I'll say last night. Because this is just what I do anyway. You know. But let's get to this reading before I forget. Cause I can bring out all my all my sigils and all that, but I did all that already. Just watch my video on the magical mindset of a magician. Like a 2-hour video, I show all my sigils and all that. So if you're really into that shit, whoever asked that question, if you're really into Lucifer, then watch that video. If you really want to see some shit. But I'm gonna do a reading with this Egyptian deck. And we're going to see what it got to say and see if I can actually interpret it. Because, again, it doesn't have the actual definitions. So we'll see how good. So I'm going to draw a couple cards before we get up out of here. Just giving y'all some clues. Just giving y'all some jewels into what's really going on out here. Once you get this shit firm, once you combine this shit and make it scientific, so that's the thing. Don't be a person that studies spirituality but doesn't study science. Because, again, magic or sorcery is the highest form of science. So don't ever for 1 second think this is not scientific or you're doing something unscientific. This is very, very scientific. More scientific than anything else. The most scientific thing you can possibly do is sorcery. Because that's how you actually affect your environment. Just using your mind power and using the chi that's generated from the body. So, again, it's not for everybody. And that's my thing. I'm not the pro 420 guy. Well, the world needs to smoke weed and the world to be a better place. I don't think so. It's only for a small number of people. Spirituality, the occult, is only for a small number of people. It's not for the masses. The masses will never understand, never has understood anything. It's always been a certain number of people who are into the occult. Have I heard about fractal sacred economy? What is that? A fractal sacred economy? Is that life? Because everything is fractals. Everything is sacred geometry. So a fractal society, yeah. Explain to me what you mean by that. But while you're doing that, I'm going to start this reading. So this is what the Egyptian spirits have to say about everything that's being said. And we'll just revolve it around, okay, I'll just ask a question here. How do you get deeper into the occult? Whether it be your dreams, whether it be spiritual exercises, how do you get deeper into the occult? So that'll be the question I pose to this deck. Let's see. The form of co-creating, manifesting in mandala. What does that mean? What do you mean co-creating in mandala? Okay, yeah. Just leave a message after I finish then. No doubt. Alright, so the question is how you get deeper into the occult. So let's see what the spirits say. Alright. So let's see what the first card is. Oh, what do you know? The devil. So, shout out to my Satanists, Luciferians out there, all my dark, shadowy people who travel their own path. But the first card is the devil. Let me give you a closer look. So what does this have to do with the occult? What is the devil card talking about? Well, the card is definitely not as sinister as it may seem, but from surface, you can see obviously you have Set, the god Set, sitting on a throne with the caduceus in his hand. You see it is the Eye of Ra. You see the snake right there, and you see two beings right there naked. You also see as above, so below. For those who don't see that, you see his fingers. Look at his hands. He got one hand pointing up, one finger pointing up, one finger pointing down. As above, so below. That is the main theme of the card. Now, what does that mean? Correspondence. Now, give me a couple seconds. I will be right back. So, keep that on your mind, correspondence. All right, we back. So, correspondence. As above, so below. So it's basically what I was just talking about. Fusing the realities together. Fusing the waking life with the sleeping life. As above, so below. The law of correspondence. So if you want to know more about this card, study the law of correspondence. Yo, salute to you. Peace out. Study the law of correspondence, which is synchronicity for all the New Age people. Synchronicity. Right? Or for the psychological people who study Carl Jung or Carl Jung, it's the anima and the animus. The anima and the animus. That may be a little bit too advanced, but oh well. I'm supposed to help y'all get there anyway. So if it's advanced, if you don't know what that is, then that's a note for you to study so you can understand what I'm talking about. All right? I noticed you're friends with Taylor Budd. Are you familiar with his work? Not recently. Like, I added him. I used to watch his videos. I haven't been up on it recently. I don't know if he makes videos recently or anything. But I am familiar with the gist of what he's about. But I haven't watched his works as of late. But I am familiar with what he does. So, correspondence. As above, so below. Synchronicity. Studying the waking life and the sleeping life. Combining them into one. Because they are one. So this is really... It's not even talking about something that should be. It's talking about something that is. All worlds or all dimensions are connected. So all the way up to all the way down. They are all one. It's all one realm. So why is that the devil though? Why is correspondence the devil? What's devilish about synchronicity or correspondence? You got to look into what Set represents in the Egyptian pantheon, which is what? You know, obviously he killed Osiris, his brother. He represents an older god. He represents the dark god before the light god. Before there was an Osiris or before there was an Asar, there was a Set. And the Set represents that clip off. The Set represents the occult. The Set represents the 8th house, the darkness. Right? So the first thing, how to tap deeper into the occult, is to understand synchronicity or correspondence on a deeper level. So it's actually more, synchronicity doesn't really capture the full thought of correspondence. So you can start off with synchronicity because that's something that more people will be familiar with. They're probably more familiar with synchronicity than correspondence. But you start with synchronicity, but then you move to correspondence because that's a whole universal law in and of itself, which, you can read something like the Kabbalion and to get a full understanding of. So with this, because somebody asked me about deja vu. Deja vu is basically everything that we're talking about, because it's basically you seeing something in the other world and you see it again here, whether it be a person, a place, or a thing. Like, oh shit, I saw this before. It may be your first time there, or your first time seeing this person, but like, yo, I seen you in a dream before, or I've been here before. So that's really just taking into account what's going on in the dream world and what's going on in your waking life and connecting the two together. So when you're able to do that on a daily basis, you're able to notice something that you've seen in the dream world in your waking life, and you're able to do that on a daily basis, then you will be able to see the secrets or of correspondence, because it's a pattern or a method behind the madness. Once you start to discover the pattern or the method behind the madness, you will be able to see the truth of why this is the devil and why it's correspondence, why you see that serpent, which represents the Kundalini energy, why these two beings are naked, which represent the sex force. The best way to raise up the Kundalini is using the sex force. There's no way around that. The sex force is the strongest force in the universe. No way around that. So the devil is just reawakening us to our primordial instincts, our killer instincts. The part of us that likes to get horny. The part of us that likes to fuck. Let's get this. The part of us that likes to create. Okay, here we go. Right? So that's what this is. Correspondence. Correspond your primordial creative nature with your waking creative nature. Does the creative nature in your dreams match up with the creative nature in your waking life? Are you really as freaky? Or sinister in your dreams as you are in real life? Is it the same? Is it as above, so below? What's going on in my mind is the same thing as I'm manifesting here. So if I'm thinking about all this stuff here, all these sexual desires, all these sexual thoughts, am I doing that, making sure this shit happens here, so that my mind and my body are linked together and become one current force that works together, that works in unison? Or am I just all up here and not down here, or all down here and not up here? So this is just an extra reminder of you need to merge the worlds together. And the best way to do that is using the sex force. It's easier to visualize when you're turned on, when you're horny, when you're in the midst of the sex act. And this is essentially what sex magic is being consciously aware when you're in the primordial act. That's really all sex magic is. You're being consciously and spiritually aware while in the physical act of sexual intercourse or sexual masturbation, whatever, right? So that's the first card, the devil, right? What's the second card? Ace of Wands. So again, we're dealing with more fire. What's the Ace of Wands? The beginning of new desire. So going back to this, as above, so below. So now this is talking about the desire. This is talking about the above, the actual desire. So this is telling you, because the question that was asked was, how do you get deeper into the occult? This lets you know to merge the worlds together. As above, so below. The higher worlds with the lower worlds. You do not separate them. God is not separate from the devil. The devil is not separate from God. It's as above, so below. You merge them all together into one. You do that by creating a new desire, new desires that are in tune with your spirit. That's why you see the staff with the wings, with the circle right here, right? The third eye, I believe those are the serpents, yeah. So you got the disc, the sun disc, the two serpents, and the wings. So what are those? So it's not just serpents, it's winged serpents. That's the difference. You have the serpent, and you have the serpent with wings, which represents the rose kundalini, or the rising of the kundalini. When your kundalini rises, or when it rises, you start to think differently. It starts to burn up all those bullshit and premature thoughts. When you start fusing the worlds together, it's going to put new desires into you that need to be manifested, so that you can prove to yourself your own power. See, this is what you do. This is why you get into the darker side of things. You get into the darker side of things because you need to prove to yourself this shit is real. You're not trying to prove it to nobody else but yourself. That's all that matters. It's only you. If you convince yourself, your own subconscious, that this is real, that's as far as you need to go. You don't need to convince nobody else. It's about convincing your own mind. So, in the midst of convincing your own mind, you are creating new desires to fulfill them, to know that, yo, I am really in control of my reality. And the best way to do that is creating new desires and manifesting these new desires that are being created, because now you are thinking like a magician. Now you are thinking like an alchemist. Now you're not afraid of your sexuality. You're not afraid of your kundalini rising. And you see he also has that staff in his hand too. The same staff here is also in his hand. Because again, that's why he's pointing up. So he's pointing down here, but he's pointing up here when he's holding the staff, which is the winged serpent. The conscious serpent. Alright? Now let's draw this last card. See what's being said. Somebody said, my friend said a snake came out of her and something demonic started talking to her. It scared her. Of course it scared her. For one, we got to realize that all entities are not nice. All entities don't give a fuck to appease you. And some entities are just badass. Like, for example, you can't be afraid of a sinister talking demon, quote unquote. Because if you are the god of your world, that includes the demons. That's what I mean. You need to merge the worlds together. The angels are not separate from the demons. So if you wouldn't be scared of an angel, but you would be scared of a demon, that's not the demon's fault. That's something you gotta handle within yourself. For you, like, okay, if I saw an angel, I'm open arms. But if I see a demon, I'm closed arms. Is a demon really negative? Or is it really your mind trying to manifest a thought to you like, yo, is you thinking that there's something wrong with this, the serpent, or the demon, or this or that? Is you thinking something wrong with the energy that made the energy manifest? You gave it power, thinking that, oh, the angels is all good, but the demons are bad. So if you, in your mind, you think demons are bad, guess what you're going to see more of? Because you're giving that reality energy. So if you do have a fucking nightmare, demons chasing you, demons is fucking with you, is because you're afraid of them. They don't fuck with you if you're not afraid of them. They actually are cool. You know what I mean? You can. It's just certain things I just don't think people are ready to hear. People don't want to hear this shit. But, you know, sometimes you need to fucking the same way you wouldn't be afraid to have sex with an angel, shouldn't be afraid to have sex with a demon. Uh-oh. Sorry about that. I got this weird setup here. But obviously the phone isn't holding itself up. So, apologize. Alright. So, that's what I mean. Sometimes, and this is what it means to be in the occult. It's not an organization, not an actual cult. It's just a way of thinking. You don't have any favoritism. No favoritism. So if a demon wants to talk, somebody said I had sex with a demon, my ex. Your ex was a demon? Well, hey. It all depends on whether you think that was a bad experience or something that helped you evolve. So that's the thing. It's all about how do you feel about it. Because somebody may say, oh, I had sex with a demon and it fucked my life up. Or somebody else may say, I had sex with a demon and that shit helped me evolve. The only difference is where that person is in their understanding of spirituality. That's the only difference. So, if you're looking at somebody as, oh, this person is a demon, well, would you consider somebody else an angel? Because if you speak in those terms, if somebody can be a demon in human form, then that's pretty much saying somebody can be an angel in human form. So since he didn't fit the description of the angel, he must have to fit the description of the demon. Since he fitted the description of the demon, then it's like, all right, well, even the demons have lifestyles. And that's the thing. When we get out of this religious thinking, that's my whole point. My whole point is religion makes you think like that. Religion makes you think there's something wrong with a lower entity. Is there something wrong with an ant? Is there something wrong with a bee? Is there something wrong with a motherfucking, any form of nature, right? No. So we don't look at ants as lower than us, although they're smaller, but they're not lower than us. So you can say a demon may be sinister, but he's not lower than an angel. He just has a different nature. A demon may just want to go around and fuck hoes. An angel may just want to meditate all day and be in the God's presence. Right? The demon don't like, I don't want to be around this goody two shoes ass nigga. I'm trying to get some pussy. Right? It just is what it is. You got spirits that are cardinal. You got spirits that are more spiritual. Most of the time, people associate angels with those spirits that are less physical and less carnal. Those are more typically angels, right? That's why they have wings and all that shit. Just represents the transcendence of the physical plane. Whereas demons, most of the time they have horns, hooves. They look more like animals. So they look more cardinal. So they're connected with the physical realm. They connected with the pleasures of life, whereas the angels has transcended and evolved past all that. So saying all that to say, it's really all about, would you feel the same way you feel if you didn't have that religious background? And if you can answer that question honestly, you will have an answer. Would he be a demon if you knew what a demon was? Would you be an angel if you didn't know what an angel was? What would you be instead? Alright? So don't allow these words to trip you up. And even if you felt like that, like, there's certain people that feel the same way about me, trust me. There are people that feel the same way about me. This demonic, demon-loving motherfucker. Some people actually feel that way. Motherfucking leaving thumbs down on the video and all that shit. You know what I mean? Just look at my comments. You know what I mean? So everybody don't fuck with it, but you continue to push forward. What is heaven and hell? Oh, hold on. I missed a question. What's my perspective on demon love? Now, what do you mean by demon love? Love between two demons or love with a demon and something else? So clarify what you're saying. So demon love between two demons or a demon and something else? Non-demon. So you clarify that for me. And what is heaven and hell? Heaven and hell is a state of mind. Heaven and hell is a state of mind. When you, let me see. The more you evolve spiritually, you can see heaven. See, the average person can't see heaven. The average person sees Trump, the Illuminati, the government, their ex. You know what I mean? Like, the average motherfucker is too clouded in their vision to even perceive heaven. And the only people that are open-minded enough to perceive heaven are children and elders. Because the elders have went through enough, so they're kind of detached. They've been through enough. Then the children haven't been through enough, so they don't know better. So if you are in between a child and an elder, you're somewhere in between that. For you to have access to heaven is to study the occult. Because it changes your perception of how you perceive it changes your perception of how you perceive reality. It changes how you view things. So you don't get pissed off when Trump say the shit he say. You don't get pissed off when a YouTuber says what they gotta say. You don't get pissed off when your mom talks shit or your family talks shit. None of that bothers you anymore. It's just come with the territory. You just smoke your fucking weed and have a good ass day. Or take a sip of your drink. It is what it is. So, to answer your question, because they said love in general. So, demon love in general. To me, a demon is no different than any other spiritual entity. There's no difference. So if you want to ask, what is it about? What is demon love? It's just more so, it's a person. We'll just say it like this. This is a person who makes a pact with a demon. We'll just say that as an example. To make sure I got enough battery here. Oh, I'm at 28%. So yeah, we're going to draw one more card, wrap this up once I answer these couple questions. So a person that makes a pact with a demon, the reason they make a pact with a demon is because they're cardinal. For example, if it's a person that wants more cardinal desires, more sex, you know what I mean, more sinister things, if you want that type of energy around you, connected with an angel probably is not going to do it. So if you want that type of energy around you, you work with the type of spirits that carry that energy, because that's the type of energy that you want to bring into your life. It's just as simple as that. So every demon has attributes. For example, there are some demons who know the past, present, and future. There are some demons that help you become invisible. There are some demons who help you get your money up. There are some demons that help you do anything. Work with spirits, communicate with spirits, travel. They all have a certain attribute. So if that demon has an attribute that you find some use in, that you want to work with, then you connect with that demon for that particular attribute. It's just simple, the same way where you would connect to an angel for a particular attribute. So that's all it is. It depends on their attributes. So if they have an attribute that you're trying to manifest in your life, then you fuck with that demon. All right. All right. Let's see. Right. Okay, they said the demon is a lower energy. The love is a higher vibrational energy. What is the connection between those two energies? That's what this is about. As above, so below. So I'm going to draw this last card to bring this point home. So that's exactly what it is. The demonic lower energy fusing with the higher angelic energy. And the two energies become one. That's the whole point. So if you can understand that, then you can understand why a person will work with demons. What's the point? And why other people choose to work with angels. Right? How do you reprogram the subconscious? Well, if you've been listening, we're pretty much talking about that right now. The first card, how to get deeper into, the question was how to get deeper into the occult, which is basically getting deeper into the abyss of your own mind. Because it's not a physical place you're going to, you're going more so into the deeper chambers of your own mind. And the first step was, as above, so below. You're merging the lower energies with the higher energies. You're merging the cardinal mind with the angelic mind or the God mind. You are merging the God force with the demonic force. The two become one. The Kundalini. You got the snake with the wings. You got the snake without wings. The snake without the wings is cardinal, but the snake with the wings is angelic. It's the same energy though. So depending on how you use the energy, that energy can be used in a sexual manner, it can be used in a spiritual manner, or it can be used in a mental manner. It's just all about how you choose to use the energy. So let's draw this last card to get the final point home. The Fool. And there's no need to even try to explain this card. We already know what this is. The Fool is basically somebody who's open to manipulating the energies of the cosmos. As you see, it's a man in the middle manipulating the cosmos. The only way to manipulate the cosmos to that degree is to be a fool. What do I mean by a fool? Somebody who's pure of heart. A fool is pure of heart. What do I mean? What does it mean to be pure of heart? You don't have an agenda. See, most people have an agenda. Right? Oh, I'm just trying to wake people up. I just want to spread the truth. I want to be truthful. I want to get the information out there. Right? Everybody got an agenda, right? I want to expose the lies and the Illuminati and whatever the fuck people's reasoning may be. Right? Cool. The Fool is being pure of heart. You have no agenda. You're doing it. You want to know just to know. You get into the occult just to know what the occult is. You don't get into the occult for what it can do for you, because you know what it can do for you. It can do whatever you want it to do for you. So you already know what it's going to do, but it's about being pure of heart. Pure heart means you're not afraid of that demonic energy. Because a fool, he's not thinking about God and devil. He's just thinking about pure energy. You don't know the fucking difference about what's a demonic energy. That's the fool. The fool is pure of heart. He will use that lunar energy when necessary, or she will use that solar energy when necessary. It's about using whatever energy you need to use when necessary. Right? So, if you remain pure of heart, you can go far. And again, pure of heart means you're not afraid of no energy. That's what it means. So if a demon come at you, want to make a pact, and it will benefit you, then make the fucking pact. If you're not afraid. Because if you bring fear into it, it will backfire on you. Because you're afraid. It's your own fear that will fuck the pack up, not that the demon is doing something to you. Don't allow fear to influence energy. Alright? So, what more can I say? What more can I say, right? I don't know what else to say. But remain pure heart. Work with these demons, work with these angels, work with these spirits, work with whatever energy you need for you. You know? How do you get over the fear? You gotta have the experience. See, that's the thing. There is no way to get over the fear other than to go through it. That's right. That's like a certificate to know if somebody's real. How fearful are they? Who speaks fear? You can't be into the occult, but you still speak fear. Because if you're really into the occult, you will know there is nothing to truly fear. So if somebody still walking around fearing something, whether it's the known or the unknown, there's still work to be done. So to get over the fear, you must walk the path. Because if you don't walk the path, there's no way to get over the fear. So somebody said, how do you use water manifestation? All right, I'll answer that question and I'll end the video. Just look at it like this. Look at it as water holds information. Water holds information. So if you want to manifest using water, and you know water holds information, then you must program the water. Whatever water you're using, whether you're using it to bathe, you're using it to drink, or you're using it to cook, whatever you're using the water from, water in your plants, or whatever, program the water before you utilize it with whatever intention you want to program it with. And that's the difference. You're now, again, it's as above, so below. So if you're about to drink water anyway, you're going to be taking showers, baths anyway. You're going to be drinking water anyway. You're going to be watering your plants anyway. This is the type of shit you do anyway. Might as well program it with the type of intention and the type of energy you want to program it with. That's why certain people say, take magical baths. All right. Yeah, somebody's calling me now, so I'm about to get up out of here. So like I was saying, take those spiritual baths, sleep with the water above your head, drink water that's programmed with crystals or program it with a mantra. Say a mantra 108 times before you drink the water, so on and so forth. So you just want to reprogram the water that you intake into your body or that you soak into your body, whatever. So you just want to develop a more intimate relationship with water. Sleep with your head facing the west if you want to connect with the water element. Facing the west, put up water altars. Facing the west, where you just have an altar full of different types of water, and so on and so forth. Just allow the water to speak to you. Buy you a tarot deck and speak directly to the spirit of water and see what it has to tell you. This is what it is. This is what divination does. Divination is about connecting with whatever energy you're trying to connect with it, and you get revelations. So you don't have to be a person that hears things in your head. You can just learn how to interpret pictures and get the same information you would get if somebody was speaking to you. So with that being said, yeah, we at 17%. So I guess it was like 3 hours in total. Hour with the first video, 2 hours for this one, all right? So, hope everybody has a good day. I'm gonna get up out of here. I will Most likely see you guys Friday. It's my days, Mondays, Fridays, but you know it's holidays. You know, Thanksgiving is coming up. Kids are out of school, so I'll see y'all Friday. But other than that, I don't. You know when you because I don't know when the fuck after Thanksgiving. Then all right. So we out this motherfucker. Stay safe. No fear. Fuck with that. Nothing more needs to be said. We up out this motherfucker. I'll see y'all in a minute. Be humble. One.